everyone, and welcome to the Podcast by Army podcast, where we talk about BTS, Army, fandom, and research. We are your co-hosts, Dr. Kate Ringland
Jhertau Her, a university researcher.
and today we're talking about
Hobi. J Hope. You're my hope. I'm your hope. I'm J. It's so funny. I have to do it every single time. Even if I'm watching a video by myself in my room, I'll do the J Hope. I'll do it. Because we're both Aquariuses and we understand each other. Sorry, I'm gonna be insufferable talking about how we share the same star sign in this episode. I was insufferable beforehand when we were planning, but then I'm gonna be even more insufferable now because we share the same star sign, so we're essentially the same. We get each other, you guys.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I love Hobi. He's our I always at the beginning of all these birthday episodes, I like go off on a list of the members and their nicknames. Our sunshine, the best dancer in all of K-pop, by the way. In the world, dare I say.
You said it.
Dare I say, okay, he knows how to hit everything. Okay, he's an icon, a legend, the best dancer in the world. I'm here to cause problems.
It should be the alternate name for this podcast. We are here to cause problems.
Yes, that's our tagline for everything now. Causing
Yes.
problems since 2023. Oh my god. It's the new year. New year, new us. We had the dramatic, we're going on hiatus. We're ending the season. And then we come back like a month later. Not even that dramatic. Anyway, let's jump right into our favorite songs from J-Hope, Hobi, our icon, our legend. By the way, if I reference any lyrics in this recording, it is from Dulcet Bangtan, the best place to get lyrics for English translations of BTS lyrics. So English, you want translations that have context and they're really well done. Dulcet Bangtan, all the way. Anyway, my favorite Hobi song. This might be a little out of left field. A lot of people might not expect this from me, or they just don't think this would be a lot of people's favorite songs. But my favorite song is Hope World from the Hope World mixtape because it's iconic and also it's so Hobi. Like, I feel like there's Hope World, and then the predecessor to Hope World is On the Street, which I also love. But Hope World's the original, okay? The original. And it's just so good. Everything about Hope World is so peppy and colorful, and there's so much about it that makes me feel like a better person. Like, when I listen to it, I'm just like, yes, I am in the Hope World now. No longer am I on planet Earth. I don't have to deal with these people anymore. And I really do enjoy, like, how Hope World as a mixtape, it also has a lot of water elements and themes, and it has, like, all this color and all this bounciness to it, and I feel like that's what I need in my life, and Hobi gives that to me, and I am so thankful because he's an icon. He also has a lot of references to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, like the
Mhm.
book.
Mhm.
Iconic. We love a man who reads. We do.
It's true.
Okay? Yeah, I love Hope World. It's iconic, it's wonderful, and it is my favorite song. You will always catch me dancing to that song if I'm listening to it because it has the beats and it has what I want of everything from it. So yeah, that's my favorite song. All you, Kate.
Okay, we're gonna go the opposite direction for me. So this was hard to choose, as it always is for me. But I decided today to talk about more from Jack in the Box. And first, when it was first released, I got super excited because it was the pre-release before the album, right? So it was the teaser for what the album was going to become. And for me, the song is very nostalgic in its sounds and very like early 90s. It's got that kind of grungy feel to it that you get from the early 90s. And it's got a mix of early 90s rock and hip hop vibes. And I don't know. So for me, it was super, super nostalgic. So that was like the music that I was listening to in my kind of youth, early teens, high school era. And then that is layered with the actual words of the song, which for me are the song is not sound wise, it's not the same, but lyrically, it maps really well with Disease. And that's another song where I relate to the lyrics really well. And so for me, more was just like more of that, where it was like, or it was the second half of Disease, where it's talking about feeling burnt out and then kind of reigniting your passion and pushing through that and finding love for what you do and what you're doing. And I don't know, it was very relatable for me as someone who also was experiencing that during the same era. And you even see it visually, the connections to Disease. You see it visually, like in the more music video with smashing the bottles and all that stuff. So there's just something about feeling that kind of connection. Plus the sound is just really good. For me, when I'm like, I need to pump myself up for something, it's one of the songs I put on to pump myself up. And then yeah, like I said, it got me super hyped for the rest of the album because I was like, man, if this is gonna be the sounds we're getting from the album, then I'm super duper excited. And I was not disappointed with the outcomes.
Yeah. Jack in the Box truly was, like, it's so Hobi, but it's, like, such a contrast from Hope World, but still so
Yeah.
Hobi.
Yeah. And I think that's what we'll get into this more in a minute, a little bit, but I think that's one of the things that's just something a lot of people who only have a surface level introduction to BTS really understand about him as a person is that he's not just this sunshine, happy, bubbly person, but he has layers and emotions. And I really love now that we have these two contrasting pieces of him out as albums because I think that really exemplifies his actual versatility as both an artist but as a person.
He's such an Aquarius. Oh my god. We truly love that. Aquarius and their individualism, icons and legends. But yeah, we can move into our favorite things about Hobie here. But one of the things that I really love is with his individualism and with being such a multifaceted person, he's so committed to everything he does. Like when he dances, we can both speak on this. Like when he
Mhm,
dances, it is a commitment to passion that you don't often see with a lot of people. Like, a lot of people be like, "Oh, I really wanna, like, do this thing," or "This thing is my dream." And I'm like, "Okay, you wanna do that, but you're not, like, committed to that. That's not, like, your
mhm.
life's work." But as a fellow Aquarius, I see, like, when he dances, he takes it so seriously, and it is inspiring in the way he
Mhm,
takes it so seriously because he commits himself so strongly to doing it and doing it with so much vigor and so much excellence and perfectionism. And I say this a lot whenever he dances, but it looks like he's possessed. He's possessed by the dancing gods because J-Hope he always kills it every single time. There's this
Yeah.
one okay, top dance movements. I didn't write this down. I probably should have written this down. But top dance moments for Hobie. Look at the on Mama dance performance practice when he does his solo part with the drums, iconic right there, okay? And then also mic drop. Mic drop performance practice, the one where he has the white shirt and the bucket hat, iconic. Amazing. And then MMA 20 mm, 2019 MMA. I think it was 2019 MMA because that's when they did all the Dionysus stuff. That one. And then look when he did his solo and he does his tutting, so good. So good. And you can only be that good at dancing or that good at anything if you put your entire heart into it. I
Mhm.
said that and I phrased that in a different type of way when we were planning this, but now I'm gonna phrase it, he put his entire heart
Yes,
into
good.
it.
Keep
And
him
I
safe for work
really
over there.
yes, I did a lot of work while we were away and thinking about it, but he truly does put his entire passion and heart into everything he does, and he takes things so seriously. I love his serious teacher face. Like,
Yes.
when he's looking at things and he's just, like, examining them, I'm just like, "Oh, so
Yeah.
cool."
That would be it's like one of those things where it's yes, that would be absolutely terrifying if it was directed at me, but since it isn't, then it's fine.
Yeah. I get to admire how cool he is from afar.
Yes.
Yeah. I really truly want, like, when they come out of enlistment, I really want him to go on a show and be a judge or something. Like, he
Right,
did
some
that.
people publicly, yes, that'd be great.
No, for real. Because he did that brief thing for this one show where he just was a guest and he showed up and he judged some trainees and helped them out. And I think they were dancing Fake Love or something. But then I think it'll be so cool to see him be in his element and be a teacher.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he
really
did
cool.
technically teach all of BTS
Right.
at one point or another. He's a king at that. He's an Aquarius king. Iconic. Anyway, what do you think, Kate?
Hard agree on all of that, and then I was just gonna add one of the many things that I really admire and love about him from someone who I think about team dynamics a lot as somebody who runs teams of things. And I really love his interactions with the other members as the glue of the group. So he's the person that kind of holds things together in a very subtle way. Like it's not necessarily obvious all the time that's what's happening, but that is very much what is happening. And he's one of those people that he takes a leadership position, like, but from not like an obvious leadership position, but like someone who's leading from underneath or whatever the words I'm trying to say. But yeah, so that was just my addition was like just he's one of those people like that he puts himself out there and can be the happy sunshine of the group and be the person that kind of brings everyone together, but he can also, we were just talking about, be this very important mentor role as well. And we see that with his the dance coaching and stuff that he does. Anyway,
I want more teacher Hobie.
yeah.
More! Like, just give it to us. Because he truly is. We talked about this before we were recording too. He is the glue of BTS.
Yeah.
Every member of BTS contributes a lot to the group. Like, Nam just talked about this too, about how if he wasn't the leader, Hobie would be the leader.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
Yeah.
That dude gets everyone together
Yeah.
and then they get going.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like as a fellow Aquarius, I feel like a lot of times when I see people who are Aquarians lead, oh, I'm sorry to anyone who doesn't care about star signs and is gonna listen to this and be like, "Jhertau is so annoying. I'm sorry. I'm just a teenage girl." Anyway, I'm not gonna be 19 soon, which is gonna be scary. Anyway, but as I see like a lot of like Aquarian leaders, it's not like a traditional leadership role. There's like a lot of people like who are like that, who don't like lead in an obvious way. Cause there's like people like Namjoon, Virgo. When he leads, it's like very much like that's the president.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's the vibe you need. But the way Hobie leads is so subtle, yet so in control that
Yeah.
is yes, this is a different type of leadership, but it still has such a tight grip over the group and able to, like, lead it towards the proper direction it needs to go. So icon.
Yes.
Also, heart-shaped smile,
Yeah, we can't have a birthday episode without mentioning that.
iconic. We love it. And he really does have a heart-shaped smile, though. It's kind of incredible how his mouth forms the shape
Yeah.
when he smiles. Because 'cause I'm just like, "You could not make a more perfect human being." Anyway, yeah, one of both of our favorite things about Hobie
Yes.
is his heart-shaped smile.
Yes.
It is so cute.
And
But you know what's n
his virtual hugs, can we mention those too? His virtual
Yeah,
hugs that he gives us during his lives.
I love him so much. You know that one time on a V Live, he, like, took us to the bathroom? I was like, "Oh my god, I didn't know we were this close."
Didn't know we had this kind of relationship, but okay.
Yeah, I didn't know either. Oh, I love him so much. He's so, cute and adorable and also, like, amazing. But you wanna know what's not amazing? Solo stands.
You knew this was coming.
You knew
Yes.
it was coming. We do it every birthday episode because
Yeah.
it's important to talk about.
Yes.
Will there be a future 5 years down the line where we no longer
We no
include a
longer have
solo
to mention
stance
them? I
segment?
hope so.
I
I
hope
hope
so as well. Hopefully, we're still doing this 5 years from now. We're still doing this
let's not
pod
worry
let's not think about that.
about that.
I'll be 25. I'll be my hag army phase. For real.
You can join the club. It'll be
I'll join
great.
the club. Yeah. I'll be too old to hang out with the kids. I won't know what's cool and hip anymore.
That's right. We'll
Anyway,
have to, yeah.
with talking about J-Hope solo stands, I want to talk about an incident that happened. I believe 2021, 2022, where a J-Hope solo stand fan base had tried to brigade r/Bangtan. R/Bangtan is the Reddit or the subreddit forum for the main one for BTS. It has over 1 million followers and members. I think it has more than 1 million now. Anyway, but brigading is basically when you are on a different platform. For instance, the Solo Stan fan base was on Twitter. And they directed people to go onto r/Bangtan and basically raid it and start degrading the admins and people on it for not quote unquote appreciating Hobi enough. Whole thing. And because of that, what happened though is Arshos Bangtan had to ban all those people who brigaded. So all the solo stands who brigaded. And then they had to put up a public announcement about it too on the subreddit. So you can go back on the subreddit and you can find where they had to ban a bunch of people for brigading. So FYI solo stands, they're not listening to this anyway, but you shouldn't brigade subreddits because it's a really big don't do that in Reddit on the Reddit website and you will all get banned and just ignored by people. Don't do that. Just a case of showing how not smart a lot of solo stands are. You want to talk about another incident where they weren't that smart, Kate?
Do I? Do I? I guess I do. We could talk about Jack in the Box since we're here talking about Hobi Solo Sands. Yeah. Can I talk about it without getting mad? No, I cannot. But yeah, the short version of the story is a lot of solos want what they were just mad about the original Jack in the Box release for a variety of reasons, the least of which was the fact that it didn't have a physical CD, which okay. Anyway, so there was a lot of nonsense that went on with the Jack in the Box release that I really don't think we actually need to rehash here. Let's just say it was all very bad. And it continued for months. It was great. Loved every minute of that part of my timeline experience. And then eventually led to the big apology in the live album release, his Hope Edition release the following year, where he released a physical album and had this whole plan for how he was going to do this whole release. And they went and screwed it all up and then made him feel bad, which made me actually cry when I read that letter in the album book.
Yeah, let's take in
Yeah.
mind that Jack in the Box was the first solo album too.
Yeah.
So it was like, and even Jin, I remember for the astronaut, he didn't want photo cards, but the people who worked at Hybe advised him to put photo cards in because people
Yeah.
bought albums for them. And it's these people, Solo Stance basically took J Hope's plans and everything he had planned. And he, for the initial Jack in the Box release, he got the mini physicals. So that was like the
Mhm.
foldable things
Yeah.
with the QR code for Weverse
Yeah.
albums, which, by the way, have the best audio quality
Yes. If you
out of
aren't listening to
anything.
that, you're missing out.
Yes, you are missing out. Like, it has the best audio quality out of anything you
Yeah.
can find out there. Even if you use the DVD for the Jack in the Box, the Hope Edition now, the Weverse album quality is just so much better
Yeah.
than anything you will ever listen to. There was a lot of experimenting happening, but that experimentation could not happen because of solo stands who
Yeah.
are so committed to this idea of what a solo release had to be. And then they got so angry about physicals. They're like, "Oh, he won't be able to chart. He won't to do this and that." And I was like,
That
"They
was
gave us a
so
vinyl.
ridiculous.
They gave us a vinyl. Buy the
Yeah.
vinyl. That's your physical charting. Is that all you care about? The chart number?
Yeah.
Not about his art?"
Yeah.
Because then he released Jack in the Box, and then he was gonna perform with it at Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason he released the album at that time, because then he was gonna take that and then go perform at Lollapalooza. Headliner, by the way, for one of the biggest music festivals in North America. Headliner. Okay, Lollapalooza had one of their biggest attendance days ever because of him.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on this time to contextualize Jack in the Box's release, and solo stands were just so upset about everything in this
Yeah.
release. And it messes with me because Hobi had a plan,
Yeah.
and people could not respect the plan. And this happened with all the other releases too. Everyone had a problem. Every single time the solo stands had a problem with it. And it's like, what do you want from me?
Yeah.
What do you want from Hybe? I feel like a lot of people don't realize how much power each of the individual members have over their releases and over
Well,
how things go.
that was it exactly. It was like the out of the gate before anything, there was an assumption that they didn't have any power over their release, which is ridiculous since they kept saying over and over again that this was each of them had individual control over everything that was happening with their albums. They said that. And to
They
like
did.
ignore that is just it blows my mind because it was like the each of the solo fan bases basically came in before they even knew anything about the album. They came in ready to be miserable about it.
They did. And what makes me the most angry was the fact that I reached Toby.
Yeah.
And then now there's like a physical letter
Yeah.
in the album
Yeah.
of him being upset about it. And
Yeah.
it's like, it makes me want to rip someone's hair out. Like,
Yeah.
how dare you, in
Yeah.
any type of way, think that you get to decide how his album is going to be released? Ah.
Yeah.
And also, the Hope edition's really cute. It has the whole foldable,
It has
like,
the little
doll.
doll in it. Oh my god, it's so cute. It's so cute. And I just yeah, I can't even talk about it. That's how mad I am about the whole thing. I get really upset because it's with any art, there is room for critique of art. That's part of the purpose. But then there's this blatant disrespect for the artist and for the process that happens. And we saw it with every single solo release. And it was like, but this one hurt for me, it hurt the most because it clearly hurt him. And that makes me mad because it's like one of those things that clearly meant something to him and it meant something to a lot of us as well. I literally just finished talking about what it meant to me. And to have it sabotaged like that by the people that supposedly care the most for him, according to them, is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. And we can even see it with right now, with the release of Wherever You Are. What happened was that it was released on Tate's birthday,
Yeah.
right? And then that's also the end of the year.
Yeah.
And people wanted to buy 0 o'clock because it's a new year. And then with 0 o'clock, it's like a cute song that like you can begin the year on, and people were buying it for in the year. And then Tate's solo stands were like, you guys are ignoring the release to buy an old song instead. 0 o'clock's an old song. And I was like, 0 o'clock is still Tate's song.
He is technically singing on it.
And it's so ridiculous how solo stands will twist anything possible to be a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's like they have no we talked about this before, about the need for creativity and artistry in the fandom, and how there's people in the fandom who not even in the fandom, just in our
Yeah, they're in our
space,
space.
who
Mhm.
will completely disregard that for numbers, for
Yeah.
any type of bragging thing. This goes back to like during Tay's release for Layover 2, where that one solo stand fan base
I
in
think you're right.
China, they basically didn't pre-order albums, and then they tried to order thousands of albums the day
Yeah.
of.
That was so bad.
And then they got mad that the store couldn't fulfill that. It was like, there's a reason that pre-orders exist.
Mhm.
They're not gonna pull it out of nowhere. to fulfill those orders. There's a reason pre-orders happen and why they need you to pre-order for those large orders. And then solo stands were so mad, they're like, "It's sabotage that they're not letting us play this order." Because what happened was that the K-pop shop thought they could fulfill the order, and then it counted for Hanto chart. And then what happened was that those sales got deleted because the shop couldn't fulfill them anymore. But the problem
Right.
was just the solo stand fan base trying to order stuff that didn't exist because they wanted bragging rights for
Yeah.
first day sales. And it's you are the problem all the time. The problem. Ugh. How do you feel about that, Kate?
I feel mad.
I'm mad.
Well, it's like yeah, I just literally ripping my hair out right now. I don't understand. I do understand. And I guess maybe that's part of my problem is we are living in a world where some people have decided to put more emphasis and importance on numbers and clicks and places on a chart rather than the actual artistry that we're supposedly all here in the fandom to enjoy and participate in. And I really truly believe that for a lot of these folks, it really is that they don't understand. They don't understand the effort and energy that goes into creating something. They don't understand the process and the number of the sheer number of people that get involved in the process of putting out an album, all the different moving parts that happen in releasing an album, especially when you're talking about things like having actual physical things that need to move from one place to another. I really think there's just not a lot of critical thought going into, oh, this is a thing that actually gets produced and has to go through all this in order to be like released into the world. And if you're not thinking about that, then of course you're going to be like, oh yeah, I can just do whatever stunt they were pulling with layover, or oh, I can sit here and be critical of all these things because classic fairy tale where they're like sitting there asking for their things, but they did not actually participate in making the things, and so they don't understand how the things came to be, and so then they're sad when they can't have them. But yeah, I don't know. I just get so mad that people don't stop to think, and I really do. Part of the problem is people living in this capitalist bubble. I don't know a better word for it. Of they're just overly concerned with the numbers and the clicks and the likes and the whatevers, and less to no interest in the actual artistry that's happening. And I feel like that is not serving us as a whole community in the long run. And it gets really annoying when that then becomes the topic of conversation on the timeline and stuff and then within the community. And we're being forced to have these conversations because people on the periphery of our community, they don't care. And they're just being loud about really ridiculous nonsense and forcing us all to be here having these conversations.
It's honestly unfortunate. With all of Hobi's release, I feel like because it was the first release too, so we didn't know how it was gonna go and how it
Yeah,
would look like. And then people, I remember, got really upset about the numbers for the album too. And it's, girl, it's a rock album. It's a rock rap album.
yeah,
It's not poppy top 100 hits. Get it together.
yeah.
Get
No,
it
for
together.
real, for real. And now that we have hindsight, we can be like, look, every single album release was different. Like there was like every single one, right? It was different genres, it was different kinds of like styles of release, it was different styles of albums, like literally everything was different for every single one, which in retrospect should have been obvious that was what was going to happen because it's BTS and they're all like their special snowflake selves. And I think that this overemphasis on, oh, we have to get these numbers and we have to like hit these records and we have to do these things, is it's nice as a motivator to, if that's, I recognize lots of people out in the world are quite competitive and that's what gets them going, and sure, but I also think we could be spending our time actually hyping up the art and hyping up what is actually happening on the album and actually talking more about the things that went into making the album what it is and the impact that the album has on us as people. And it would be really cool if we could spend more time talking about that rather than yelling into the void about numbers.
Yeah, I would like that too. 'Cause it's honestly really disappointing that Jack in the Box, it was such a pivotal, amazing moment for BTS, the first official
Yeah,
solo album, right? It wasn't a mixtape and like that. We love the mixtapes though. Glory to the mixtapes,
yeah.
icons, legends, laid
Mhm.
the foundation, okay? But this was like the first ever solo album release we ever had, and a lot of people were very confused. And I think it was very hurtful, not even just a Hobi, but as a community, seeing how many people fell for solo stand rhetoric during this time.
Yeah,
And so many people wanted it to be like cookie cutter template, every release is the same, gets the same amount of blah blah blah. That's not how it works. Dude, didn't know each of the members are different people. Tay's layover release being super duper artsy with multiple MVs is so him.
yeah,
It's so him. Namjoon having the private concert and then having the multiple performances in very artsy places. So him.
very him.
Okay?
Yes.
Kobe performing on a stage at a music festival in front of thousands of people. So him.
Yeah.
So stands obviously they don't care about the other members,
Right.
but they're so stuck in everyone has to care about what they say and everyone has to care about what they care about. And it's so annoying. I just
It
wanna
is.
just throw the whole thing away. What I've started doing on Twitter is just I'm just not acknowledging them anymore.
Yeah.
Straight up. If you cannot get with your face and with your own voice on a video and call me out and say something to me, I'm not responding to you. Because I put my whole face and voice on the internet to
Yeah.
do all of this work. If you cannot do that as well, we are not on equal footing, and I will not engage with you in any type of aspect. I'm a hater. Let me be. Yeah. With promotion as well, when we're talking about each of the members' releases, all of the promotions were different. We were just talking about like, with Tay's multiple MVs and Namjoon's performances, right? All of them were different. Literally went on a concert worldwide tour
Yeah.
for his music release, right? And I think a lot of people are not understanding that each of the members had something very different they wanted to do. People complained about this is like such a niche complaint, but about radio performance for some of the songs. Some members
Mhm.
did radio and some members didn't. And some songs got English versions and some songs didn't. But the whole thing with that was like it's like the amount of effort that they have to put into that. Because if you wanna promote on radio, you have to go to the radio shows, and that's so much effort on the members' part. It's so much effort for them to travel, do promotion, even Jungkook doing as much promotion as he did for Seven. He had to travel to the US, do a whole run, perform on Good Morning America. That wasn't just for Seven, that was for Gold in general. Because Jungkook went on Jimmy Fallon and he went on like a bunch of like different interview things. And that's so much effort on the members' part. I don't think people are recognizing that the reason Jungkook did that was because he was learning English and he's become more proficient in it, but the other members did not do that because they don't know English. A lot of them would have to sit there with a translator to do a lot of these like radio show host things,
Mhm.
right? That's why a lot of them, when they promoted in America, they didn't go to those types of things where the radio hosts are just leaving them to fend for themselves. They went
Right.
on things like Jimmy Fallon, where they get a translator and they have a more accommodating staff because Jimmy Fallon obviously wants them on there because it's good for a
Right.
show. And they also know him better as a host because they've gone multiple times. So it's like a whole thing with promoting is so exhausting on the members. And if a member doesn't seem to have equal promotion or whatever, think of how that affects them as people and on if they would actually be invested in doing something that takes so much of their energy and their time. Because there's also, Kate, I think people have selective amnesia when
Oh,
they
good.
forget that the WGA strike, the writers' strike, was
Oh,
this
that's right.
year.
That
And
happened.
you wanna know what else happened during that time? BTS releases. So why did some of the members not go to America on the late night shows? Why did Tay not go on Jimmy Fallon? Because they're striking. They were striking. He didn't get equal promotion. You guys didn't promote and care enough about his album. The Writers Guild was striking. He promoted in Japan
It's true.
because that was one of the only music markets that was like doing anything because the writers' strike was happening in America.
Yes, it was.
You guys are insufferable. Insufferable. Selective amnesia for real.
And selectively deciding what context they're going to pay attention to. Because I sometimes wonder with some of these folks and their extremely good critical thinking that they've got going on, I wonder if they were even paying attention to the writer's strike in the beginning. They probably don't even know why they were striking.
Yeah. Worker solidarity forever, by the way. But
Yes.
like the writers, they were striking for so many different things. Also things that affect BTS, like AI,
Yeah.
and also like deepfake voice legislation and
Yeah.
like a ton of other things. The writers, they help make those cute, funny shorts for BTS when they come on late night shows. The pogo stick joke, a writer wrote that.
Yeah.
And then Jimin said it.
Yes.
It's the writers who make those shows. And a lot of solo stands not appreciating that because they can't, because they don't have the capacity to. We're haters. We're haters.
We are. It's true.
Yeah. I just really dislike it. Because again, it's the whole hyper focus on every decision the members make while simultaneously trying to take their autonomy away from the decision making.
Yeah.
And with that hyper focus too, it's about how they analyze who appears in the music videos for the different BTS members
Yeah.
and what they post on Instagram, who they follow on Instagram, which by the way, if you look at that's weird. Very weird.
It is weird
Stop
behavior.
doing that. It's weird to do. It's to hyper focus on the members and everything they do and being like the members need to do all these things and telling them what to do when they should be
Yeah,
able
well,
to.
it's like treating them like dolls, right? They're not human, is what they're doing.
And
And
with that,
that's what makes BTS. You know what I mean? That's if we didn't have these 7 very cool, very different individuals, we wouldn't have BTS. It wouldn't be the magic that it is as a entity.
yeah. And when they all come together, it's BTS.
Yeah.
It's iconic. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And each of them, I feel because B is not the quote unquote forgotten album, people don't realize how much each of the members contribute to BTS themselves and how they are as individuals. Because I remember for the album, each of the members took on a different job for managing the album. And the album turned out the way it was with contributions from each of the members. And a lot of people just don't think about like how each of the members bring something so unique to BTS and how unique each of them are as individuals and how that makes them different from each other yet powerful together.
It's the most important thing about
Yeah.
all of them.
They're basically the Power Rangers
Yeah.
and they're making the big mech suit together as
Together
BTS.
with their powers combined.
Anyway, final thoughts, Kate.
Final thoughts. Happy birthday, Hobi. Yay. I've said this before, I think, but I'm gonna say it again. But one of my favorite days on Twitter was in it must have been 2021 because I was brand new on Twitter. I had joined in January and I had joined with trepidation. I'm like, oh, army on Twitter, very scary. And then it turned out it wasn't so scary. But a month later was Hobi's birthday, and there had been a lot going on Twitter in general because I think that was like there was NFT stuff going. There was a lot going on Twitter, but it was like everyone had put everything on pause. All the drama had been put on pause for just the day for Hobi's birthday. And my timeline was just literal sunshine and flowers, and everybody was just posting really happy stuff. And it was like the most positive internet experience I had ever had in my life, which is saying something because I've been on the internet for a while. I think, what did we say earlier? I'd been on since 93, 94. It's been a while. That was the most positive, happy day I had ever had on the internet. And none of his birthdays have been that way again. That day was like pure magic. And I think that there's just something about him deciding that this was going to be his persona that he made sure everybody has a part of. And I really appreciate that about him and the effort he makes to create that sunshine for everyone. So, anyways, so happy birthday, Hobi! Yay!
Yay! Happy birthday, Hobi! He's just oh, I'm gonna get emotional. I love that man. He is my whole entire heart, actually. 'Cause just some final thoughts on this episode too. I think the reason why we were so effective when he wrote that album in the Hope edition is because he is our whole entire hearts. And just seeing him hurt over that is really devastating. Cause how dare you ever hurt him? How dare you? Because he doesn't deserve that type of treatment. He truly is just so wholeheartedly an amazing person. And I truly adore that man. My Aquarius man. Truly adore him. And I know I joke about it a lot, but very genuinely, I didn't talk about this, but J Hope's Ugh verse is my favorite verse out of any BTS song ever.
Mm.
It's my fave. And he just encapsulates like so much that I relate to. And I really do love him. And I really do wish him the happiest of birthdays. Happy birthday, J Hope! Yay! Yay! And with that, thank you all so much for listening to this episode. I hope you all have a wonderful, hopeful day
Yes.
celebrating J Hope. And take care of yourselves. Anyway, take care. Okay, bye.
Bye.